Hi, I'm Greg from Saniflow. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install the Sanicom. The Sanicom is our mid-sized commercial grey water pump. It's ideal for restaurants, cafes, office kitchenettes, anywhere where you need a high performance pump. Maybe you need to pump higher or further. Maybe you have high temperatures or grease. I'm going to run through the pump line installation. At the end, we're going to install it in an office kitchenette. So we're going to rough our pump line in. Regardless of whether it's a Sanicom or Sanispeed, our grey water pumps use 25mm on the vertical rise and increase to 32 on the horizontal run after the first 5 metres at 1% grade. As you can see, we've already got our water roughed in for our kitchenette and part of our pump line. I'm going to talk about fittings. It's always really important to use 45-degree bends, all change of direction, not 90-degree bends. Now the reason for that is 90-degree bends will impact on the pump's performance. It creates a lot of friction loss, whereas 45-degree bends is a lot more gentle. Now make sure you use 45-degree bends at the base of your pump line and also at the top of your pump line. Every change of direction impacts on the pump's performance. It's friction loss. So if you can imagine, two 45-degree bends equals 0.5 of a metre of head in friction loss. So we're going to finish off the last bit of the pump line. I'm just going to finish off gluing my fittings together. Now make sure that you're using your green pressure glue. So we're just going to saddle off, and when the walls have been lined, the cupboards have gone in, we're going to come back and we're going to install our grey water pump. We've got our kitchen cupboards have been finished. This is an office kitchenette. Our Sanicom's ready to go. I've unboxed it and we've got our trusty instructions. Please read the instructions, whatever you do. The reason we're using a Sanicom in this installation is we're pushing up about 4 metres. There's a lot of stuff going on up in the ceiling space, so we've got duct work and beams to get around. So we need high performance, so that's the reason why we're using the Sanicom for this one. Normally you'd probably get away with the Sanispeed, but because of the pump line specifics on this one, which I'll explain a bit later on, we need to use Sanicom. Sanicom's our mid-sized commercial grey water pump. It'll push 8 metres of head, so it's ideal for this actual installation. What we've got here, we've got our inlet connectors, we've got our discharge elbow, and we've got our assorted clips that we're going to need for the installation here. With our inlet connector, you can cut the end off there with a Stanley knife. That will fit slab repair coupling, 50mm slab repair coupling nicely, so you can actually transition to your 50mm pipe easily. Our fitting will connect onto the end of the pump there, our 50mm slab repair coupling then, and then we can make our way to our trap and do our installation there. After that, we can do our final pump line connection with our ball valve and we're good to go. Okay, so just make sure that you use your foam rubber pads. Actually, that's double-sided tape, so they stick on there, and that will help with sound transfer from the pump to the actual cupboard. So we've got our pump in, we've got our waistline done. With our trap, make sure you always use a trap on your fixtures. Just because you're using a pump doesn't mean you don't have to use a trap. We've got our ball valve in, and we're ready to do the final connection for our discharge elbow. Now, with the Sanicom, the non-return valve is in the top here on the non-return valve holder. You need to make sure that your non-return valve hinges to the back of your discharge elbow. So to make sure that you can actually do that, you can rotate your non-return valve holder with a pair of multi-grips so that you make sure that your hinge is located at the back of your discharge elbow. So whichever way your discharge elbow is facing, that's where your hinge has to actually be at the back of the elbow. So with the Sanicom, the vent is actually here. This is the vent opening. Now this cap that goes on top, it just covers it up aesthetically, but there's still space here for it to breathe, so there's still free airspace there. The Sanicom really needs to be able to breathe. It shifts a lot of air, a lot of incoming water. Outgoing equals volume of air incoming and outgoing. So it's always important that you make sure that it's not stifled or blocked off. You could use a two-way carbon filter if you really need to use that, or vent to atmosphere. You can actually take this fitting off and you can actually vent to atmosphere from this point. So we're just going to put that back on there. So we're going to fit our discharge elbow on. Make sure the position's down. Okay, I'm going to clamp off. Okay, so we've finished our pump line. Now it would pay to use a barrel union. If you're in a situation where your pipe work's tight, pay to use a barrel union. At least that way you can disconnect the pump to work on it easily. Your barrel union obviously goes after your ball valve, around about here somewhere, if the situation allows it. But for this installation, we've got plenty of room here, plenty of pipe work, so we've got a fair bit of flexibility. Now we have a functioning kitchen with a sink and an office kitchenette, thanks to the Sanicom.